a blessing to be with you all this evening. Of course, all things must come to an end. And tonight we're going to wrap up our series on good versus great. Okay? And then next week, we're going to jump into our new series known as Temptation. Okay? So that's going to be our new series, and just a little sneak preview. You can look at Matthew chapter 4, verses 1 through 11, because that's what we're going to be looking at in our next series, okay? So, we finally reached the end, and there are so many ways to be a good friend in life. These are the 5 big ways for me, or the 5 huge ways to be a better friend in life. We talked about treating each other the way you want to be treated, or respecting one another. We also talked about hanging in with each other. You can look at my previous videos for that. We also talked about speak words that resolve conflict and bring healing. We also talked about not spreading gossip. And we also talked about directing one another to Jesus. If you want to know the scriptural preferences behind those, check out my previous video, okay? And I've always said in our series, I'm going to explain the difference between good and great. Well, here's the difference. Good means that you're satisfied. Once you've reached your limit, once you've reached your goals, you just kick back and relax and just think, I've got nothing else to do. Once I complete my homework assignment, I've got nothing else to do. Right? But great is stepping beyond the limits. Going the extra mile. Taking the extra step. For example, if you were in class and your history teacher gives you an assignment and he says, I want you to complete a 2-page essay on the life of Ronald Reagan. Okay? And he says you have 5 weeks to do it. Because it will give you enough time to research. It will give you enough time to put it all together. Okay? So you do it on your research. You plug it in the way of it. Okay? And finally you put it all together, you print it out, you turn it into the teacher, but he gives you a B+ on it. You're thinking, where have I gone wrong? I met all the criteria that he or she was wanting. I met those criteria. I met those standards. So where could I have gone wrong in this process? Have you ever thought about checking it before you print it? Have you ever thought about reviewing before you print? How about this? Instead of doing a 2-page, how about you do 3 pages? Maybe 4 pages, depending on your research. Or instead of doing a 5-paragraph essay, like we do in English, how about do 6? Maybe 7. Go the extra mile. Take the extra step. So my challenge to you tonight is this, as we close with our series. A challenge is for you to be a better friend to someone else. If you're in school and you see somebody who's sitting by themselves, go and talk to them. Go and make friends with them. Talk to them. Build a relationship. Remember the building strategy I was talking about? When you're first talking to somebody, that's you laying the foundation. Okay? You know, the likes, dislikes, hobbies, all that fun stuff. Okay? And then as you continue to grow with that person, that's your construction growing as well. And when your building is complete, when your friendship is complete, are you just going to kick back and, when damages come, are you the kind of person that say, I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm satisfied with where my friendship is. I'm good. Or are you the kind of person that goes the extra mile, that takes the extra step and say, you know what? I'm going to do everything in my power I'm going to do everything in my authority to make this friendship work. When you die one day, how do you think your friends are going to remember you by? Are your friends going to say, well, he was okay. He was average, I mean, he was there for me every now and then, on occasions. Or are they going to say, man, I love that guy, or I love that gal. They were such a great person. They always stood by me in everything I do, and I stood by them. That is what it truly means to be either a good friend or a great friend. I wrap up with this train of thought. A couple of weeks ago, one of my teachers at school invited me to go listen to him preach. First of all, he's a great speaker. And what he says is going to really stick with me, and I hope it sticks with you. And I'm proud to call this teacher my mentor, Mr. Ballard. He was talking about don't let up when you're let down. He says that when you make plans, or when your expectations don't meet up, it's because God has something that is in your best interest. You've heard your parents say, well, we want to do what's best for our kids, right? That's like God. God wants to do what is best for us. Just because something didn't work out doesn't mean that it's going to work out the next time. Just because you didn't make plans the very first time doesn't mean that those plans are going to happen again. Right? And if you don't believe me that God has a plan, check out Jeremiah chapter 29, verse number 11. It says, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. So you know right off the bat, when you read the text, when you read the scriptures, that God has a plan. He also has a purpose for you. Ephesians chapter 2, verse number 10, it says that you were made in His workmanship. Okay? I want to let that sink in for just a moment. As we close our series out, I want to leave you with this question. What kind of friend are you willing to be? Are you willing to be satisfied with everything that's going on between you and that person? Or are you the person that goes the extra mile? They take the extra step. They do everything in their power, or they do everything in their authority to make it work. Are you willing to fix what you have started? Just because there's some holes and some damages on your building doesn't mean that you can fix it. Doesn't mean that you can make it better. Okay? I want to leave you with that thought. So next week, we're going to jump into our new series called Temptation. And like I said, you can look in Matthew chapter 4, verses 1 through 11. And it's Jesus' account with the devil, or another translation says, the tempter. And I'm going to show you how temptation not only can affect you, but it can also get to you, even though you may not know it. And I'm going to show you that on next week. But think what it truly means to be a good or great friend.